So in the beginning of that track, this last track, track 4, which is entitled "All In versus Other," or like any state other than all in, I talk about waiting. When I'm not all in, when I'm in any state other than infinitely committed or all in, then I tend to hesitate. I tend to wait for all kinds of things, and the primary hesitation is what I refer to as the how obstacle. Right? Part of our conditioning is that we believe we need to see how things are going to work before we fully commit to them. Right before I say yes, or before I make a decision that it will be so. And I like to ask people, can you get what it means to decide that you're going to do something without knowing how? That is powerful living. That's fun. That's how we're designed to live. We are creators. We create our lives. And I also mentioned in this track something about the universe providing, and I want to modify that language right now because, and let me do it this way. Another one of my favorite mantras is, inherent within your desires are the mechanics for their own fulfillment. Inherent within your desires are the mechanics for their own fulfillment. Put simply, the how is already in the what. The what you desire, the how or the mechanics of it, already embedded within, which is why we then just need to move towards and to activate those mechanics. I always tell the story about my nephew Benny and my car keys. When back in the day, I was watching a football game at my sister's house, and Benny was he's the oldest of my nieces and nephews now, but at the time he was the only one. And he was an infant. He wasn't even walking yet, right? And I had thrown my car keys up on top of the ledge or the mantle over the fireplace. And I was watching a game. My sister yells in, "Hey, Chris, Benny's crawling into the room. Keep your eye on him." I said, "I got him." So he's over there. The TV I'm watching is over there. The keys are up over top of the fireplace, which is right here. And he's crawling. He starts crawling towards. And I think he's coming over to see me, but he's not. He must have seen the keys that are literally 5 feet off the ground, right? And he's an infant that can't even stand up yet. And he sees these things. And I didn't know what was going on yet, but it's obvious now that he saw this shiny object, because they were like situated right underneath some recessed light, so they must have been like glistening, and they got his attention. They became an object of desire for him. And what he did was instantly moved towards, with no hesitation, with no self-consciousness, and certainly with no questions about how the hell am I going to pull this off. Isn't that amazing? I love this story because he just moved towards. Now he's got my attention because he's crawling towards a brick fireplace, and I don't want him to get hurt, so I'm watching him. These are the mechanics. The mechanics of how have been activated by him moving towards. So he's got my attention. The mechanics, by the way, just to like be a spoiler, I was the mechanics in this story. So he moves towards, and he passes me, and now I'm like, what is he up to? And he looks up, and he's making noises, and I'm looking around, and I see my keys. I go, oh well, that's it. That must be what it is that he wants. I get up out of the chair, grab the keys, put them on the floor, and he's playing with them. He got what he wanted. He manifested his desires with virtual, effortless ease. I did all the damn work. I was the mechanics. He activated the mechanics by moving towards without hesitation. Had he done what most of us do now, since we've been educated on our limitations and we've learned to have to wonder and debate or contemplate the how forever, he would have hesitated, right? He would have just sat there on that step back by the kitchen, and he would have thought stuff like, man, that'd be pretty cool, but I sure don't know how the hell I'm going to get those. Those are really high off the ground. That's an impossible vision for me. This task, I'm not seeing this one. Right? We don't need to, and that's like my favorite part of this whole thing is we don't need to see the how. I don't even want to see the how. It's like going to a movie. I don't know how it's going to unfold. That's what gives it this entertainment value. I love coaching people and myself moving towards something that I really want, that seems being the operative word, like an impossible task, having no clue necessarily or very little how I'm going to pull it off. And then when I go in the direction of that with absolute full commitment, then simply witnessing the how unfold. Now that's the language, like the universe providing. Well, you're the damn universe, and you are making the provisions. You are providing. You are simply activating the mechanics that are already there. You know, and I tell you, this isn't some ethereal nonsense. This is science. You know, this is measurable stuff. Like, our thoughts are measurable. We can't see the energetic expression of our thinking, but it's measurable. I mean, there's machines that are called like the magnetoencephalograph, some big ass contraption that actually doesn't even touch you, but it measures the electrical expression, the energetic expression of your thoughts. So that's a thing, just like the radio waves. Like, the radio stations are broadcasting through towers that send waves. The same thing with the cell phones. There's waves. There's all these things, these frequencies that are traveling through space that we cannot see. They're just the invisible mechanics. And it's the same thing with our thinking. So we just understand that. Like, when I hit these light switches on the wall and the light comes on, I'm not seeing behind the scenes how it works, but there's mechanics. And we all get the electrical, the mechanics of that, or we at least know that it works. Well, let's get cool with the mechanics of the energetics of our thinking. And the frequency of my all in this quality thinking is the most effective thinking that I've ever witnessed. With all my entire life committed to human peak performance, there is no more effective frequency than the all in one.